great, by
Thank
the way.
you.
Nice to have you here. Did you happen to be listening to us? We were talking about Poppy Montgomery's article in Esquire, things that men should not do, like cheating.
Mandals.
You do not like mandals. Sandals.
Men's sandals.
You don't like those? Well, what's your problem with them?
It depends on the guy.
Yes.
The right guy can pull off the right sandal, but pretty much, and I'm sorry, Dad, the socks, no.
It's her husband. It's my husband and her dad.
And my dad.
What do you
When you say like guy, who do you mean? Like who? You mean like Richard Gere could wear sandals?
Yes.
But the Pee Wee Herman can't?
If they shave their toes, they can wear sandals? What are the rules?
I don't know what the rule is.
You just know it's right.
Instinctual reaction. You either see them and you think, oh, if you either feel pity for them or it's you don't notice it.
I married this man. It's not pity, all right. You learn with age, honey. I want to talk about the movie because, again, I loved it. But you play a 13-year-old, and thanks to some magic dust, you are suddenly 30 years old.
Right.
With this whole life in front of you. Now, is your personality closer to when you were 13 or 30?
The strange thing about this movie is everyone thinks it's wild that I'm doing a comedy, but really I feel kind of vulnerable about it because this is closer to my personality than anything I've ever done before.
The 13-year-old.
Yeah, and the crew of Alias and the cast, we were standing around while they were lighting one day, and they said, we were talking about this movie, and I said, I don't know, I'm scared. And they said, Jennifer, you're 30 whenever the camera's rolling, and you're 13 the second they say cut. So you might as well flip it and get paid for it. So I did it.
So you're in touch with the child. And I heard that also you were saying, so how do you say his last name? Mark Ruffalo or Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo rhymes with Buffalo.
Great.
Delicious.
And then you were singing songs to him or something on the set?
This is going to haunt me forever. Yes, I sang to Mark every day.
How? Like, sing a little for us.
They would change. Let's see, what would today's be? Marcus Ruffalo, I am sitting here on The View, and the next time I see you, I'll kill you, Marcus Ruffalo. And that's just for telling everybody about the song.
To a 13-year-old. I'm seeing this now. I mean, because they're opera singers. I have to just relive it.
Let's look at that again.
No, let's not. You know what? Let's take this outside, ma'am, okay? But you say you can relate to 13 very easily.
I think we all,
Even the
we're
awkwardness.
all exactly who we were at 13. I think very little changes. I still feel, if I go to a party, I still feel exactly as awkward and I don't belong here, I'm wearing the wrong thing, I want to stand in the corner, I want to go home, the exact same way that I did when I was
Even when you were wearing that fabulous Oscar gown, because girlfriend, you were our favorite.
Oh, you guys were so nice to me. I watched the next day.
We actually have a
Thank you.
picture of you at 13.
Well, let's see what you were.
Oh, yeah. Payback is right here.
Oh my God.
You also played an instrument.
Yes.
See, I could have played the accordion right next to you.
Yeah, I had glasses.
You two were very similar.
Yes, we
The
were.
big glasses.
So yes, I can relate.
Crazy girls on this show. You also both play instruments. Maybe you could start a little band.
No, that'd be a great idea.
We just played the accordion in the marching band.
I can do the accordion right behind you. Yeah, we've got it going.
So now,
Let's go to the album.
I understand you did some fun research for this role. To be slumber parties.
I had a big, I was involved in a big slumber party. It was thrown and I was just one of the 13-year-old guests. It was a blast. It was just like, you forget how cool kids are. And you forget how sophisticated 13-year-olds are and how
Smart and
intelligent and funny, and they can have a completely adult conversation and then turn on a dime and be giggly and silly and dramatic. And
So that's how the sequence in the movie came about? Because you have a sort of a slumber party moment.
no,
in that
it's just happenstance
Yeah.
that they both happened. I didn't know. I had one night and I needed as much 13-year-oldness around me as possible. And so we stayed up. I mean, I was the first one to poop out, I'll admit it. But they stayed up all night and we ate like gross. Yeah, this whole movie, I just ate and ate and ate like.
And it sure shows, man.
Yeah, I know.
You really let yourself go.
It was fun. It was fun to have a role where it was like, oh well, another donut, bring it on.
One of the most talked about scenes in this movie, which was so much fun to watch, was the recreation of the Michael Jackson Thriller scene. I loved it, but I heard that it took a long time to do. Why?
Just because it was a big dance sequence with a lot of people. We rehearsed, Mark and I rehearsed for a couple of Saturdays, and it took, I'll tell you, since he's so free with my song, I'll tell you that it took a couple of pep talks for Marcus Ruffalus.
Really?
Yeah, I had to pat him on the back quite a bit and say, you can do it. So he did some extra credit work.
And in the end, he was great. You're adorable.
Oh,
We're not going to let you go, you know that.
Oh, no, I don't want to go anywhere.
Okay, we'll be right back with more of Jennifer Garner.
That was a clip from 13 going on 30, and we're back with Jennifer Garner. And that was also a small glimpse of the wardrobe that your character gets to wear in this movie, which is phenomenal. Did you have to say that?
Thank you. Susie DeSanto designed the wardrobe, and I think the reason that we had so much fun with it is that it's a 13-year-old's fantasy of how a 30-year-old would dress with limitless funds. We just had fittings every day, and every day would be like, what'd you buy? And I could care less about clothes, so it was
What
really...
about the other perk that you used your parents as extras in the movie?
Yes.
Put our parents in the film.
My
Were they good
parents-
actors?
Well, I have to say they were cut.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were cut. They were sitting, I was at a table, and they were sitting at a bench next to me. And every time I was trying to do the scene, and I would look over, and my mom's like this. And I could hear them. Nobody told them they weren't supposed to talk. And I could hear them. I'm doing the scene, and I hear my mom saying, well, Susanna just called. That's my little sister. Susanna just called, and she said, Melissa. And I'm like, mother. So they ended up being cut, but they'll be on the DVD.
And they will show that part to their friends.
It was so fun. It's so fun to involve your family in some way because it's so foreign to everyone that I've ever known. This weird job.
Big world that you're in now. Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you say that you really could care less about clothes when you have become such a style icon. And we talked about that great dress. Throw
The
that
orange one from the Oscars?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
You a hit. I don't even know that girl.
She sure doesn't look 13, that's right.
Right, yeah. I mean, it was fun. It was a blast. But I literally felt like I'd stepped into someone else, and then at the end of the night, it's like, get me out, and stepped out into my frills.
I find that so fascinating because thinking of the role you play on Alias, you dress up more than anybody
I
in
know,
the history of television.
the irony. I mean, my friends crap. I'm like talking about strappy heels or a pale lip. They're just like, what?
You don't know anything about it, do you?
I do now. I've had to learn quickly.
You're the wig girl.
I am the wig girl. Wigs are fun.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So now, do you have a favorite alias, a favorite character that you play?
The fun thing is that it's always different. And so every time I put one on, a wig and the hair and the makeup, and the people involved with the show, the design of the show, are so talented that I just become their creation. And so every time I think, oh, this is my favorite. We all say that all day. This is the best. This is the best. But my favorite was I was blonde, Swedish, with a little bob, and I had blue contacts in, and I looked so not like myself. I just wanted to stay her. I just thought, I want to be Swedish. I want to be this blonde girl. I'm going to stay this way. And I did the magic dust, and it didn't work.
You recently did your part for the government. You made a video of CIA recruitment film, right?
Yes.
Do you think you could ever be a CIA agent?
No. No, I actually admire them so much, particularly the operatives out in the field, And I have heard from people that work at the CIA that, although Sidney Bristow is definitely fantasy and we don't involve ourselves in the actual news of the world, there is an element of truth in the, zipping from country to country, but I'm way too close to my family and really bad at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
That could be a problem.
Yeah. Now, I'm obsessed with dogs. Joy, you are as well. But I understand you have a lab named
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart?
No, you don't.
Why did you do that?
Why Martha Stewart?
Is the dog going back to the pound?
I deserve that. It's okay. I started watching Martha Martha cook, the real one, the person, not the dog, when she was first on TV like 8 years ago, and I find watching her cook so soothing that I've kind of bit by bit, then I got the magazine, and then I started TiVoing from Martha's Kitchen, and then I was on a show, best day of my life, and I told her that I'd name my dog after her, and she had a little bit
When
of a
she
laugh.
molests a chicken, I just go crazy.
She's too cute. You played Elektra in Daredevil.
Yes.
And which was phenomenal as well.
Thank you.
And there's a spin-off coming up in 2005, right?
Yes, I started shooting it in a week and a half.
Did you have to start training early for that? Are you working out like crazy? What's that like?
I'm a little behind. I'm fit. It's not like I'm going to freak out, but to do that kind of role where it's so incredibly physical and specific, normally an actor would take 3 months and train 8 hours a day. I'm just going up on my normal old Alias plus some extra Pilates topped in, and
Yeah, just your normal old,
an hour a day. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
How many days do you actually work out? The audience
whenever
wants
I
to-
can. Probably anywhere 5 to 6, sometimes 4.
For an hour or more?
An hour, that's it. And some days it's just walking and a little stretch and good for me. I feel like if you show up, if you just promise yourself you'll show up, at least that keeps you in the
Just don't
house.
show up and eat. You gotta show up and eat.
People need to show up at this movie because it is so funny, and you and I are going to do that thriller dance in the back.
Okay, in the back, for
Jennifer
sure.
Garner, 13 Going on 30 opens everywhere today, and we'll be right back.
Thank you, guys.